So we're going to be debuting your new song Under the Covers next week.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited about that.
I'm really excited to play it.
Well, I'm very glad you like it. I think that it is one of my favorites. Just last night, I don't want to be too name-droppy, but we were hanging out with our friends, Two-Door Cinema Club, last night in Columbus. We were on their tour bus at the end of the night, and I was showing them a bunch of the new record, and Under the Cover seems to be like the one that it hits people the quickest. It's got a good energy to it, and people respond to it quickly, I think.
I saw on your guys' Instagram, is that who you were playing basketball with last night, Two-Door Cinema Club?
Well, it's funny. We've been friends with Two-Door for a long time. We've done a number of tours with them. Whenever they're near, we try to hang out a little bit. We've been friends for years. We were just talking last night about when you tour with one band, like 4 or 5 times over the span of 5 or 6 years, you start to develop these like huge pockets of memories in all these random places. And we start talking about, hey, remember that time we were in Vegas and we did this? I remember the time we were in Texas and we did that. It's really fun. We're very lucky to have them as friends and fans. They're great guys.
So they were really liking Under the Covers. What's kind of the story behind that song?
Oh, that's a good question. I should have prepared for that question, actually. If I start thinking about the lyrics, it's funny. I think that sometimes, like, people purposefully write an allegory, and they purposefully bury some sort of truth or way of thinking into the lyrics, and then sometimes it just happens without trying. I think that's more prevalent. Like some of it's really obvious. It talks about, wanting to get away from cell phones and technology and, like, taking a break and stepping away, and sometimes you really just want to look around and not look at your phone, and I don't know. I sound like an angry 15-year-old.
So I didn't see a music video anywhere for the song online. Do you guys have plans on making one?
Yeah, there's no video yet. I mean, we're probably going to start with, like, the lyric video, and then we've got all kinds of ideas for the music video, and we're trying to figure out how much it's going to cost to do all the crazy things we're talking about. That's usually how it works. It's like we always start with these huge pie-in-the-sky ideas, and then, like, okay, how can this actually happen? We're like, well, we need a helicopter, we're going to need a marching band, it's going to be fantastic. And then they're like, that's going to cost $200,000. Like, okay, well, let's see what else we can do. How about we get our iPhone, we walk down the street. So yeah, we've got a little script floating around. We're just trying to figure out if it's possible.
I'm excited to see it when it does come out. So I kind of want to know this, like, why do you wear, like, the vintage military style clothes? Because, like, all the pictures I'm seeing of your guys' band, you kind of got that style going on.
Yeah, we do. And to be honest, we drift in and out of it sometimes. But it all started with my dad. He gave me his Vietnam jacket that he wore back in the 70s. So I wore it through high school, not trying to make a statement or anything. I just liked it. I was a little hippie kid. I was such a dork. Still a dork. But I would wear his jacket, and I always loved it. And so when I started Bad Veins, and it really started as more of a lo-fi project. And I had a lot of, like, vintage synthesizers and vintage instruments. And it almost felt silly if I was wearing, like, my crisp new H&M shirt up on stage along with all these old things. So it seemed kind of obvious, like, well, I'll just wear my dad's cool jacket, and I'll kind of blend in with this stuff a little better.
So you guys, you still use, like, the whole reel-to-reel thing when you're on stage, right?
Yeah, we do, which is funny because the music gets less and less lo-fi. We get poppier and poppier, I think, the longer we write songs. It feels less and less intuitive. But, there's still a lot of orchestral stuff. There's way more stuff on the record than just Jake and I can do live.
Yeah.
So the reel-to-reel plays, the strings and the choirs and even the bass, otherwise we'd have 9 people on stage. So we just make up for the lack of extra band members with a reel-to-reel and more energy.
It's a little more intimate that way, too.
Yeah, I think so.
You mentioned the past year you guys have kind of taken a year off. I was going to ask you, how has it been? Because it's been a little over a year since The Mess Remade came out. What have you been up to this past year? Just working on new music and stuff?
Yeah, Jake and I both had, big changes in our personal lives. Like, we both moved and all kinds of other things I don't want to get into. We needed some time. We were burnt out. We needed a little time to readjust to some big changes and come out stronger, hopefully.
That's cool. So what's your plan for the rest of 2016 then?
Well, we're putting out a single or two. At this point, I think we're looking at a release of the full-length record in probably the fall. We don't have the date scheduled yet, but I think we're talking about possibly October, but we just don't have it locked in. But we're just starting with the first single right now, as you know. So we're going to see how that goes first.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me, Ben.
No, of course. Thanks for having us, and I'm very excited that you guys like the song.
I'm so excited to debut the song next week, and we will definitely get all of the links and all that sent to your managers so you guys can post away.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby.
Thanks so much for talking with me.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Bye.